All right, new lab. All right, we're going to be doing default routes, static routes, and RIP. Remember, a default route, all it is like you can only put it in the stub router right here, router 1, router 2. Let's increase this a little bit so you can see it better. Okay, ooh, not there, don't click there. There we go. You want to move this around, you got to click in the white area and that goes around. Click and hold and just drag around. Default routes can only be configured here in router 1 and router 3 because it can only go in one direction. Okay, can only go in one direction. So you're going to put them in router 1 and router 3. Router 2, we're going to be using static floating routes. Static floating routes. All right, to get to the networks. And you're saying, well, Laz, why are you using static routes in the middle, dude? We're plugged into both networks. We can see it. It's going to be in our routing table. I got loopbacks. These are loopback 1.1.1.1, loopback 2.2.2.2, loopback 3.3.3.3. We'll take a look at the scheme real quick. This is what we're going to do. This is the goal. All right, so we're going to configure floating static routes to get to those loopback addresses. All right, we're going to give them a floating static route because we're going to increase the administrative distance to something higher than RIP. That is the routing protocol of choice. All right, and we're going to use RIP. Now we'll do a very high level overview of RIP. I'm going to get too deep into it, but just we'll cover the basics. Very basic RIP, just to get this lab up and running. All right, I do have the IP addresses, so let's take a look at that first. So I'm going to do a show protocols. So you can see the mask as well. Show protocols. All right, so you can see you have the 10.1.1.5. That's going across. That's this interface right here. There's a 10.1.1.4. There's a 10.1.1.8. And then you have the loopback 1. This is loopback 1, loopback 0. I don't know what I did. All right, loopback 1, whatever. 1.1.1.1, 32 bits. It's all right, like a host mask. Then we go over here, and then we do a show. No, not that. Show protocols. Protocol. Okay, and then let's bring it up a little bit so you can see it better. We have the 10.1.1.9, which is going this way because it's the 8 network, and with the 10.1.1.6, which is going this way. And we have the 2.2.2.2.2, right? This is router 2, so it's 2.2.2.2 with a 32-bit mask. And then we go to router 3, and same thing, show protocols. And then we see 10.1.1.10, which is that interface right there, and 3.2.2.2.3 with a 32-bit mask, all right, which is the loopback 3, what have you. And these are the loopbacks that this router doesn't know about. This router will not know about this network, this loopback, which is 1.1.1.1, or this loopback, which is 3.2.3.3. So that's why we're doing those static floating routes to get to it. Because if you look at it, let's go to the middle router, router 2. And if you ping, you can ping 10.1.1.1.5, right? You can ping that. Can you ping 10? You can ping that. Can you ping the 1.1.1.1.1? No, you cannot. That's beyond the scope, right? So you can't ping to it. Control C, Control Shift 6. No, that I didn't do that. It just stopped. So you can't go beyond that point. So that's what we're going to be doing those static routes for. 3.3.3.3. Okay, you can get there. Control Shift 6. Doesn't happen. Control Shift 6 X. Oh, what happened? Okay, copy. No, escape. Whatever. So you can't do it. You can't do it. So you need to be able to get there. So let's go to router 1 and let's do our default route. Cool. You know the topology, you know the IP addresses, you know the goal. All right, conf T. All right, IP route 0.0.0.0.0.0.0. We're going to use the next router's hop address, which is 10.1.1.6. All right, that is a default route. Don't need to put an administrative distance there. Done. WR. I'm going to go to router 3. I'm going to do the same thing. Hello. Come on. Get me in. There you go. Config T. Come on now. Don't mess with me. IP route 0.0.0.0.0.0 means match any network, match any mask. Just take me to the 10.1.1.9, right? The next guy over. Cool. All right. Do WR. IP route. Show IP route. Let's go. Come on. Show IP route. This thing's taking way too long. All right. So now we have a default route. Can we ping it this time? Let's check. Ping 1.1.1.1. Now it says not request timeout. Now it says unreachable. Because what's going on here? Now you're saying, okay, I don't have an entry for the 1.1.1 network, but I have a default route. So take it to the next guy. Maybe the next guy knows where it's at. Well, he doesn't know where it's at either. He has no freaking clue where it's at. He doesn't have an entry in his routing table. So you're going to get it back in unreachable. That's the difference. Before you got to request timeout, because your own router said, yeah, no, don't know where it's at, drop it, right? Now he's not dropping it. Now he's forwarding it to this guy, and he's saying, yeah, I don't know where that's at. Let me send you back an unreachable message. That's what's going on. All right, so we need to do static routes in router 2. Make that work, right? Config T. So I want to go first to the 1.1.1, which is over here somewhere, okay? The loopback. So I'm going to go IP route. I'm going to go to the 1.1.1.1 network. That's a 255.255.255.255 mask with next router's hop address, 10.1.1.5. But we're going to make it a static floating route. The administrative distance higher than RIP, which is 120. That's going that way. Cool? Now I'm going to do one for 2. IP route. I'm going to go to the 2.2.2.2 that has this mask. All right? Through who? The 10.1.1.10, which is this one right there. All right? Oh my gosh, like a whole bunch of things. 10.1.1.10. And then 150 for the administrative distance. UWR. Copy that. Make sure you're on the right router. I sometimes forget to switch routers, so careful. Verify that you're on the correct router. So now we look at the routing table for router 2, and in its routing table, it's got static entries for the 1 network, and okay, so it's just showing static entries for 1 and 2. Cool. All right, show run. That's interesting. That's a new one on me there. Just want to make sure. Why would I even type that? Swipe it out. Really? It should be 2 static entries, shouldn't it? Take me to my static route entries. Yeah, you can see here I got 2 static route entries. Okay, I guess this will be CML2 doing its thing. All right, it's just going to summarize it. Here's a static entry for that network, and I guess we'll just assume this is a static entry as well. Okay. Oh no, I did it wrong, because instead of doing 3333, I did 2222. Okay, well that was just silly. Yeah, that's what it was. I'm like, what? What's going on there? That doesn't make sense. I have 2 static entries, but I did it for the wrong loopback. How about that? That's why we got to verify everything we do. You see how I did 2222 up here? We got to get rid of that. So we're going to do config T. We're going to do no IP route, because this, I'm not going to go in there and copy paste. That's ridiculous. No IP route. 2.2.2.2. 255.255.255. I'm doing a static route to myself. 255. 10.1.1.10. That's just completely wrong. So that can cause an issue. You can create a loop. All right, so take that out and do IP route 3.3.3.3, 255.205.205.205. That one's to 10.1.1.10, 150. All right, do WR, and we'll look at it again. Well, we'll look at the routing table. It should be correct now. We should have 2 entries in there. All right. I was like, you're assuming? Oh, but no, it's pointing to I did a static route to myself, which is ridiculous. Swipe your route. That's what you get when you get no freaking labels up there. Okay? So I didn't take it out. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. So we got a static route here, but we don't have a static route here. So we got 2 static routes right there. I'm connected directly to that, so we just ignored it. Okay, cool. Let's take a look at the start real quick. Space, 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 space. There we go. Yeah, the 2 is gone. Cool. Just wanted to make sure that was gone. All right, so now that we have static entries and default routes, let's see if this router can now get to over there. And now it can. Why? Because now I'd send the message, hey, I want to get over here to the 1.1.1.1. All right. Don't drop. It's not using, it's not router 3, show IP route. It's not using the default route. Well, in this case it is, isn't it? is using the default route to get out. Don't drop the packet. Don't drop the packet. Send it to this guy. This guy knows where to go. He sent it over here. This router looked at his routing table and said, aha, I know which way to go. I got to send you over here. And then when he sends you over here, he says, well, I know where that's at. I'm connected directly to it. And then you get a reply. And then when he sends that's the request. When it sends back the reply, it says, well, I gotta go back to 33333. All right, well, let's use a default route to get out. Okay, let's send it to the middle router. The middle router, router 2, says, oh, I know where 3333 is at. I gotta send it to the 10, and then he gets it. So that's what's going on back and forth. The router 1 and router 3 are using the default routes to get out. Once it gets to router 2 is going to make the decision. It's going to look at the routing table, and he has static entries for those loopback addresses. And that's why he can get across. As you can see, we can get across. But we don't want to do that. We want to use a routing protocol. All right? So these are considered static floating routes due to the administrative distance of 150 that we gave it. Okay? So we're going to do RIP. Let's start with router 1. All right, just to go in order. Okay, we're going to do RIP. RIP, distance vector routing protocol, administrative distance of 120, static route to 150. So immediately the one with the lowest administrative distance will override the one with higher administrative distance. So RIP will take effect. All right, RIP 15 maximum hop count. It's not really the routing protocol of choice for mid to large size networks. This is because it's going to be easier than keeping track of static routes and all that stuff. It's a lot easier just let the routing protocol do its job. But it could be processor intensive depending on the hardware you have. Just keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and do RIP. Router, which is very simple. Router RIP version 2. All right, with RIP, you have just put the class full boundary of the address. Network 10.0.0. Network, it's a distance vector. It does not see anything else. Network 1.0.0. It will not see 1.1.1.1. It doesn't see that. All right. And then you do no auto summary. You better type an auto summary. Better type it. But that's how you do that one. We're attached to the 1 and we're attached to the 10. Okay. So we're going to come here. Router 2. What are we attached to? Just the 10. Static routes, you advertise the network. You look for the networks that you don't know about. Where in a routing protocol, you advertise the networks you're connected to. Okay, so router, RIP, version 2, network, that's backwards, network 10.0.0, no auto summary. Do not forget no auto summary in RIP or EIGRP when we get to that. Okay, so we got that. All right, and then we go to the last router. Do the same thing. Conft router RIP version 2, network 10.0.0, and network 0.0.0.0. Oops. No auto summary. There we are. All right, we'll get deeper into RIP as we go along. Okay, show IP route. Now, there are no static routes. You see that the default route is still there. It's there just in case, right? It will never go away, regardless. There's your RIP right here. It's telling you about the one network that is 2 hops away, meaning 2 routers away, okay? So can we get there? And you're learning about also the 4, which is 1 router away, which is this network in between here. So let's see if we can ping all the way to the loopback, ping 1.1.1.1, and we can't. And then if we come over here, oh, I'm not going to do that. You know we can get to the other side. But here, the default route stays there. What happened to the static routes that were here? What happened to them? Are they still there in the routing table, or are they gone? Show IP route. They're gone. They're no longer there. RIP took over. RIP took over because of the lower administrative distance. The static routes are there. They're backup. Just in case RIP goes haywire, okay, you still have static routes to take you across. Simple as that. So on the outside routers, the stub routers, default routes. Middle router, you static routes, floating static routes, okay? And then If you want to just make life easy on yourself, you configure a routing protocol, small network like this. You can configure RIP easily, and then it's not going to burn it, and the routing protocol will go ahead and take over. All right, but you have to create static floating routes with a higher admin distance. That's it. Simple, simple. Cool? See you in the next one.